Now to Hurricane Ida, making its way toward the Louisiana coast and expected to strengthen dramatically in its final hours. We've got a live look at the storm on radar and live pictures in New Orleans right now from our friends at EarthCam. That is Bourbon Street on the right, and it is looking pretty empty tonight. Just a couple of folks walking down the street there. People there have just hours left to finish preparing whatever they can before Ida makes landfall. Let's get straight to meteorologist Addison Green, who has the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center that literally just came in.
Yeah, Sherman, in the past several minutes or so, we definitely did see that full data package coming on in from the National Hurricane Center. And you can see the latest information has it still as a Category 2 hurricane with winds of 105 miles per hour. So we were expecting to see some rapid developments and rapid intensification before this full package came in, and it has not happened yet. So that's some good news right there, is that we may avoid seeing it really explode upwards and towards a Category 4, even a high-end Category 4. But nonetheless, it still has about 300 miles or so to go, where it can still move over some very warm waters and thereby continuously get the chance for seeing more strengthening over time. We already can start to see some of the offshore rigs right there and some of the buoys as well, that we do have some strong sustained winds of over 20 to 30, even 50 plus miles per hour. Up in the city of New Orleans, sustained winds around 10 miles per hour, but all along the Gulf Coast, those winds are going to start to increase in intensity as the system approaches. Now, we do have, of course, lots of warnings out there, hurricane warnings and tropical storm warnings, as we are starting to see this system starting to approach its eventual landfall, with us still having that forecast cone right there going over southeastern sections of Louisiana, which does keep New Orleans right in that right-hand side, the dirty side of the storm system, with winds sustained of at least 100 miles per hour, as it's looking to be a Cat 2 as it passes on by, maybe even maintaining its strength from a Cat 3. So the timing of that landfall, it's going to be early on for Sunday afternoon, with it likely to be as a Category 4, storm surge of 7 to 11 feet, tornadoes, as well as maybe a foot of rain is all possible. For our local impacts here in Houston, just a light northeasterly breeze will be coming on by for your Sunday. We'll have partly cloudy and hot temperatures coming our way, with maybe an isolated thunderstorm chance developing. And if you're in the Galveston area, be on the lookout for some increased wave activity and rip current concerns, as Ida is churning up all the waters out there across the Gulf of Mexico. All
right, thank you, Addison. And supply trucks from FEMA now in Louisiana. They're staged for whatever help might be needed when the storm finally clears. Our Xavier Walton joins us from the Big Easy, where it is anything but tonight. And as always, some folks are choosing to ride out the storm. Xavier.
The next 12 to 16 hours are going to be telling for folks right here in New Orleans. That window to evacuate is just about closed, and while many are choosing to ride out Hurricane Ida, there are some families that couldn't leave soon enough.
My family is evacuating to the Florida Panhandle. So
Mom, Ashley Angelico,
I'll be there.
Documented her family's evacuation.
This is the hardest part, because you don't know if what you're bringing is enough. You don't know if it's too much. You hope that you'll be turning right back around to your house in 3 days, unpacking this all, but you just don't know.
She joined thousands not willing to wait and see what Ida does. Near Lake Pontchartrain,
if his name Ida, it's going to be a rough one, man.
My name is Ida, A-I-D-A.
Okay. Your name is Ida.
But you pronounce it Ida, just like the storm.
That's ought to do it, Ida.
Ida and Sid Anderson are staying just like they did during Katrina. In the French Quarter, businesses boarding up to the tune of
Dark days are gone and the light is here. The hurricane's coming, y'all don't be scared of you.
It's good.
A few blocks from Bourbon Street,
We're putting up boards here,
we met this father and son.
but the most important thing is protecting the investment and protecting the culture. You know, that's all we're doing, man.
They too were riding out Hurricane Ida.
So, you know, I want to protect myself from COVID and protect the business and the house from Ida, man.
So that father and son you just heard from there evacuated during Katrina. His son was just a little boy then, but as you can see in that video, his son now all grown up, and now they're going to ride out Hurricane Ida together some 16 years later. In New Orleans, Xavier Walton, KHOU 11 News.
All right, hoping they and you stay safe and that Ida is nothing like Katrina. These are the last groups of people trying to get out of New Orleans by air. Look at that. The New Orleans airport has announced that all arriving and departing flights scheduled for Sunday have been canceled. Also, a steady stream of people driving west on I-10 into Texas. These are live pictures just west of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Traffic so bad that the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office has put out a warning asking people to be patient and, if at all possible, to avoid I-10. Look at that string of brake lights. Cars, of course, can overheat, run out of gas, and strand evacuees, as sadly we know here in Houston. And in fact, some gas stations along the state line are dealing with fuel shortages. And that's why the Buc-ee's in Baytown is one of the first stops in Texas for Louisianians. Families showed us how they packed up their vehicles with enough supplies and clothing to last until Tuesday. Many riding out the hurricane here in Texas with friends or family.
It's scary for sure. I've only lived in New Orleans like a year, so I don't really know the protocols for this kind of storm, but our neighbors were leaving, so we just felt like it was a good idea.
I'm glad that they're getting out and like being safe about it instead of staying, because I got a couple of friends back at home that are staying, and I am a little worried for them.
Vincent and his family evacuated from LaRose, Louisiana, and they arrived in San Antonio earlier tonight. Among the things the family packed, a vintage 1966 Gibson guitar. You gotta take what's important to you. And more than 130 animals have arrived in Houston from Louisiana. Houston SPCA says that the cats and dogs came from several Louisiana animal shelters. The critters will all get veterinary exams before some of them are taken to shelters in Austin and San Antonio. And Lakewood Church will hold a supply drive for evacuees, collecting bottled water, cleaning supplies, and baby essentials. That'll be on Monday and Tuesday. Lakewood and other churches will then distribute those items.
Helping others and helping our friends in need, and just, you know, it could be a tragic storm, so we're here to help the city. We've been here for 61 years, and so that's what it's all about. And I believe that's what we're called to do as Christians, is to help others.
Pastor Osteen adds that the church is also preparing to shelter evacuees if needed. Stay with KHOU 11 News for up-to-the-minute coverage on air and online, KHOU.com and our KHOU 11 mobile app. We've also got a live blog going on with all of our reporters covering the storm.